Hello. So, welcome back. The next topic that we're going to talk about is networking is not for selling. Now, this is a controversial one, but it's really, really not. So, we've got some very key points that we want to share with you, okay? So, if networking is not for selling, what is it for? All right. So, at the beginning, before we went live, I sat down and I spoke about what I felt networking is for. Okay. And I feel that networking is about education. It's about educating other people.
For me, it's all about building relationships. We've spoken about that a lot.
Yeah.
Because the whole point of everything that we do with Senior Bound to Get Connected is about connecting you to the right people, building the relationships and building the rapport. And it's being serious about business while still building relationships. Yeah. But there is so much more to it. And that's what we want to cover.
Yeah, there's got to be an element. Okay, so it's all well and good building relationships, right? I'm going to the pub and build relationships. But it's about what you do with those relationships. It's about how, once you've gone networking and you've gone to a room and you've met 3 people, right? But what you do with those 3 people, right? They just sit there in your LinkedIn account or, in your friends requests.
But I think this comes back to other shows that we've done as well, about going with purpose, it's finding that purpose of why you're going in the first place.
So let me tell you what I think it is, right?
Yeah.
This is my personal opinion. I think, have you ever heard of I call it the 4 buns on a rugby post? Have you ever seen that? So it's the who, the where, the when, the why, and the how. Yeah. All right. And I think before you go networking, I think you need to sit down with your business, all right, and discuss out what it is you're selling, right? Who you're looking to sell it to, where they are, what's their geographic, right? When is a good time for you to sell to those people, and how you are going to help them. That's the big one, right? So many people go into whatever when they're selling their product, and they'll go, yeah, I'm a great plumber. I'm going to use an old analogy that Nick Sladdick once taught us. Yeah. I'm a plumber, look at my blowtorch, and no one cares about that. What people care about is the shower at the end of it, what it looks like. So when you are networking, this is the type of message that you need to be getting across. So who are your clients? What are you looking to achieve? How are you going to help your clients? And then you start educating people in the room. You're educating your connection. And the reason why you do that is because then when your connection is having a conversation and they say, I'm looking for someone that can, they will then refer you.
And this actually comes down to a really good other analogy. So we've got obviously Christopher Robertson, who works with us here, and he does intellectual property. So he attached that to a story about Alejandro.
Good on Alejandro.
Every single person who ever get it, because people get intrigued about the story, right? Yeah. So they're going to think, oh, I know Alejandro, intellectual property. I'm going to connect it to Christopher.
Absolutely.
And I actually did something similar last week, which I went a bit viral, which was about our chickens. Do you remember our chickens that we had to rehome, but they are safe and sound? But they were all called Bridget, right? And I said, don't run around like a headless chicken and give out business cards, because networking is not about selling. That was the message. And it went, be more Bridget, right? It's got its own hashtag now. The reason being is because it intrigues people. So if you can find something, you don't have to come up with a story. You don't have to come up with a Bridget or Alejandro. But if you talk about experience, and one of the things actually is when we talk about and interview members of the Open Network, as soon as people start talking about somebody that they've helped or something that they've done for somebody else, all of a sudden their face is going to light up and they speak with a different voice.
But there is a reason.
Rather, very different voice compared to when you do your 60 seconds, for example. And that is so typical of how you can educate people and how you can attach that emotional kind of thing to it.
And there is a reason behind this.
Yeah.
It's one word. Confidence.
Yeah.
Because when someone has helped someone, they have got confidence, right? So many people don't have confidence in their own business. It's simple as that.
It sounds like it should be simple, but it's truly not. And I don't know, many, we want to hear your comments, but so many people that you have one-to-one with as well, they can't really explain what they do. So how are you then? So I had one yesterday. I had a great one-to-one, but at the end of it, I was still trying to find out how I could help this person and how I could help to introduce him to people.
There is another thing. So I tell you, right, I'm very confident, okay, in what I do, all right, and I know that, right. If someone talks to me about Cena Bounds, I can tell them. If someone talks to me about Jamie McCann, I can tell them. If someone talks to me about Blue Koala, I can tell them. But there are people out there that when I say to people, they say to me, "Oh, what do you do?" And I go, "I've got my own business." There's people that work for other companies, and they they're just not in that world, right? Like, Alan, the forklift driver, he's just not in that world, right? And he'll say to me, "Oh, what you doing?" I go, "Oh, I run a business network." And you go, "What's that?"
Yeah.
Right? And that's where I struggle, because I'm like, "Oh, well, it's a group of businesses come together and we, help each other get connected." And they just don't grasp it. So I don't bother explaining it, because there's no point. Like, Alan, the forklift driver, is never going to come networking with us, or not unless ever he becomes a freelance forklift driver, right? Yeah. So you do have to have a little bit of element of playing the field, right? So, like, some people they're just not interested in what you do. Like, get over it, okay? Or some people will show interest, but they just don't get it, right? Get over it. Tesney's getting involved as well.
Tesney's getting involved in the background, but it's also about, I think, because networking. I know a lot of people that come to various networks who might not need the business, that their business is thriving, but they need the support that the network can, enable you to get and get connected with different people. And
we've got clients like that as well. I mean, I'm going to give a shout out to Jeff Marshall, right? Jeff Marshall runs a mining company. And I remember once saying to Jeff, why are you a member of Cena Bounds when I don't know anybody who has a mine in their back garden? He said, "I'm not looking for miners. I'm looking for contractors. I'm looking for consultants." And I've given him loads of leads. Once he said that to me, he knew his what, he knew his who, he knew his where, he knew his when, and he knew his how. And he knew exactly how he could benefit from being part of the network. And I have given him loads of referrals.
But that's exactly. So if you can find one little nugget like that when you go networking, you are going to open up so many doors.
Yeah.
And that is really one key message. Really, really great message.
It is. So, and it is very much about, like, so many people say, don't sell to the room, sell through the room. And people often ask me, and I get people saying that to me, well, what does that actually mean? What does it mean to sell through the room? It doesn't mean sell your product to the room so that they sell it to everybody else. It means educate the people that are in the room so that they can then have you in the back of their mind. And that education is consistent, by the way. It's not like, well, I told my story, right, I'm done now. Like, and you talk about Christopher. Alejandro has a whole story. If you look at adverts, okay, the Bisto advert, the Bisto advert story lasted for 10 years, right? And everybody knew about the Bisto gravy advert, the Bisto family, the Domino's.
Domino's did the same.
Yeah. What was the pasta one? The Demira sauce, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Same thing with the Mexicans, right? The little cartoon characters. Tetley tea.
Yeah.
People collected the tea figures. That is about telling a story. And that's what you're doing in networking.
If you can find a way where you can tell your story so people remember you.
Yeah.
Another great tip, actually, if you're going, and people will notice that I often do it, I'm not in it today, is the blue colour. Wear your brand colours.
Yeah.
Because people will associate you with your brand.
I think the blue might have clashed with us.
Well, that's a whole other episode. But yeah, I think especially if you're doing an expo.
Yeah.
If you're doing an expo and you've got your banners, your leaflet, you've got everything sorted, wear your brand colours as well. Because it's just
we're into a different show now.
I think people forget about this when they go networking.
Yeah, people networking.
If you're going to a big event, Great British Entrepreneur Awards, for example, or something like that, wear your brand colours because people will associate that with what you do.
They will, right? Listen, we do have to end the show. I think that there's some good top tips there. We will be back with more very, very soon. So stay tuned and we'll see you again soon. Take care. Goodbye.
Take care.